What a merry dance we have been led. The story of an amazing 10 babies born to a Tembisa mom had South Africa and the world enthralled. But as soon as journalists started trying to follow the story, broken by Peter Rampedi of independent media, the cracks began to show. No hospital or government official could confirm. Then the family sent a press release. On this channel, we called the numbers on that release, and I actually interviewed a family member, but she maintained the births had happened but could not give us any more details. Now, at that point, we backed away fast. Too many questions, too many holes. And now, an apology from the controversial journalist and editor to his media house and his readers. Well, let's discuss this now with a Caxton Professor of Journalism at Wits University, former eNCA Editor-in-Chief Anton Harber. Anton, thank you so much for your time. So, Rampedi's admitted he didn't do the basic journalism, that he took it on trust that she was pregnant, didn't ask for any of the scans, didn't speak to any of her doctors. What do you make of how Peter Rampedi and independent media have handled this story?
Absolutely appalling. It could not have been handled worse, Sally. The most benign interpretation is that they were led astray, but they were gullible. They didn't ask the right questions. But I think the worst thing is once it became clear quite quickly that the story wasn't holding up, they just stood firm and dug a deeper hole to stand in, rather than saying, something's gone wrong here, we apologize, we back off, we're going to fix this. So it's really a terrible indictment on that newspaper, that editor, that newspaper group, which one should note has opted out, it's gone rogue, it's opted out of the normal institutions of accountability in journalism, such as the Press Council.
So this story was splashed all across Independent's titles, their front page, even the Boss Iqbal survey. They were all, as you say, so incredibly certain that they actually doubled down as soon as doubts started to emerge. You know, so it's a story that eNCA and other media houses, even international newspapers, well-known international newspapers, carried the story. There was an element of trust. There is an element of trust. If a newspaper puts something on their front page and then tells you, well, there's a lot of cultural sensitivity, so trust us on this one, there is still that sort of collegial trust in a way amongst media houses. What lessons are we to take from this as the media industry in South Africa, Anton?
Trust nobody, particularly newspapers, newspaper groups and editors who've already got a tarnished reputation. You know, it's difficult for other media because it's potentially a very big story. And it's very difficult to just ignore. But the lesson for the rest of the media is do your own checking, do your own reporting. Don't just report what others say, because you should not be trusting, particularly newspaper groups that have gone rogue.
So, Anton, there's two issues here. First of all is and I think this is potentially a human rights issue, is that the mum, even though we know that apparently she didn't give birth, at the centre of all of this. Her story was told, alleged story was told by men. She was also in a way blamed, and we still don't know why she claimed what seems to now be a phantom pregnancy, which of course is a psychological condition. We still have yet to fully tell her story. But equally this evening there is a media release coming from the Gauteng provincial government on Peter Rampedi's apology. They say they're really concerned about independent media, particularly the editor of the Pretoria News, which is Rampedi, and that they've instructed the State Attorney to institute legal action against Rampedi. So, first of all, about the mother, concerns for her, which I think we've sidelined and it's difficult to tell, but also the fact that the provincial government is now getting involved in suing. Is that inherently troubling for you?
Well, let me say on the mother first, the alleged mother. We don't know the facts. We don't know if she was part of what appears to have been a scam or a victim of the scam. There certainly are signs that there are mental health issues here, which means that her story really needs to be treated with great care. But since we don't actually know her role in it, that still has to emerge in order for us to understand exactly what went on. Yes, the Gauteng government has said they have instructed the state attorney to take legal action against Rampedi and independent newspapers. It's not clear what they have in mind. I don't believe they can sue for defamation as a government department, but do they intend criminal action or another form of civil action? I would be cautious, though, because governments prosecuting journalists has a chilling effect. It sets bad precedents. I don't think it's the way to deal with a problem like this. Certainly, one wants the journalist and the newspaper group to be held accountable, but I would be cautious. I would tread cautiously in the area of legal action and prosecution by the state.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your insights this evening. Always great to chat to you. Caxton Professor of Journalism at Wits University and former eNCA Editor-in-Chief, Anton Harber.